Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Listen, man, Jermel Charlo lost to Canelo Alvarez. Okay? Went the full 12 rounds. He lost by decision. Canelo happened to touch him. I think it was in round 7 and put him down. It was more like a flash knockdown. You know, he caught him with a good shot, but Charlo decided to take a knee, which I feel was a strategic move, and just try to recover. And he got up and he had great moments. He had good moments, man. But I'm gonna tell you what happened in that fight, okay? But the first thing we need to address, Canelo's Canelo. Canelo's great, all right? We need to just put that out there. Canelo is a great fighter. But about Charlo, he didn't show up for a paycheck. Okay, that's not what happened. Second thing, Jermel Charlo's career is not over. Okay. Third thing, Charlo wasn't scared of Canelo. Fourth thing, Charlo did train and did take this fight serious. If he didn't train, he wouldn't have been able to stand up to some of those shots Canelo hit him with and to go 12 rounds and still look fresh in the 12th like he did in the first round. Okay? So let me explain something here. I'm going to tell you from experience, right? Jermel Charlo, what went wrong with him is he got in that ring and he felt something that he never felt before. And when he felt that, the game plan changed. I'm telling you. He wanted to find out, right? He wanted to find out just how strong Canelo is or what the power felt like. And like that chart says, you F around, you'll find out. He F'd around, took the fight, dared to be great, and he found out. Okay, wow. This Canelo is not Castaño. Now, what I will say is for Jermel is that when he did let his hands go, and he wasn't half committing, when he let his hands go, you could see like it was only a handful of moments where he really tried to let his hands go. But you could see that, man, if he just would commit more, that he had an opportunity to make that fight more competitive. But I'm going to tell you, when you get in a boxing ring, it doesn't matter if you're sparring, it doesn't matter if it's a no-kidding fight, and you get hit by somebody who hits hard, and they're cutting that ring off you and keeping that constant pressure on you, your mind is going. Your mind is going. You're thinking. You start breathing. And you go in full defense mode, and you make a choice: do I fight or do I flight? And Jermel Charlo made a decision. 90% of that fight, to that boxing match, to flight, not to fight. Only 10% of that boxing match, he made a decision to fight. And when he did, he had some success. But like I said, you can't land one shot in a round and I think that's going to get it done when Canelo's coming and loading up on bombs. But for anyone out there who's slamming Jermel Charlo, I would say he does talk a lot of trash. He did not talk trash for this fight. Before getting the fight, I think he kind of talked his way into a butt whipping, right? But, man, there's weight classes for a reason. Even when you look at Jermel Charlo's build, you look at Canelo's. Charlo's much taller. He's not much bigger. When you hear these fighters who've gone on record, like Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones, other ex-professional boxers, and talk about the importance of growing into a weight division. You just can't, not every fighter can just jump up 14 pounds, 20 pounds. You know what I'm saying? You have to, there's a natural order of progression, a natural order of weight gain if you want to go from fighting in a lower weight class to a higher weight class. Jermel Charlo didn't do that. He bubbled up 2 weight classes, undisputed versus undisputed, for a huge opportunity and a huge payday. And that's why Jermel Charlo wasn't so sour at the end of the fight. He was happy. So now he's going to go back down to 154. He wants to fight anybody, but he called out Crawford in particular. So let me tell y'all something. This whole thing that people are saying now, oh, David Benavidez is licking his chops. All the fighters at 168, they can't wait to get in the ring with Canelo. What I'll say to that is, hold your horses and let's not take it to the stupid. Because, yeah, Benavidez is naturally a 168 pounder. David Morrell is naturally a 168 pounder. Some say Canelo is not. Those fights are a lot more interesting just on paper looking at it. You see, you don't win a fight on paper. You win the fight when you get in the ring. But when you look at it on paper, I'd have to say, on paper, Benavidez, Morrell, those guys would present a bigger challenge for Canelo Alvarez. But when the real deal starts and they start getting touched, right? Because Canelo's going to let his hands go. You guys talking about David Benavidez. He can fight. He can fight. No doubt about that. But he's got a long torso. And he's tall. And Canelo Alvarez is going to target that. Now, David Benavidez has fast hands and he'll counter him. But David Benavidez starts off slow. And if he starts off slow and Canelo comes out working from round 1, you could see that fight get interesting. Very interesting. It may not go beyond 6. I'm just being honest with you. But at the end of the day, if David Benavidez has Heredia back in his corner like he did for Caleb Plant, and he can put the work in and change his body and improve his power and improve his stamina, then you'd have to say if Canelo can't get him out of there within 6, it could be a hard night for De La Hoya because Benavidez is going to let his hands go. But understand this, right? We've got to discern between David Benavidez letting his hands go and Dimitri Bivol letting his hands go. Both let their hands go, but they approach it in 2 different ways. Bivol had the style to box, move, 1-2-1, take a step back, bing, 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 roll out, and box Canelo in the center of the ring. And if you get him on the ropes and just unload on him, and then back away and reset. You see, Benavidez, that's not his fighting style. He's more like Canelo, pressure fighter, cut the ring off, get you on the ropes and bang. So that being said, we'll see how things go. But when it comes to Jermel Charlo, look, he didn't lose the fight because he was under the lights. Oh man, this is the biggest fight of my career. That's not what it was. It was Canelo having that Herculean power, and Charlo felt it and didn't like it. It was Charlo weighing in at probably about 175 or so when he came in that ring. And when you look at his body, he looked hydrated at the weigh-in. He didn't look like he put on a muscle. He just looked like a hydrated fighter. So that tells me that that extra weight on him is not the reason he lost, but it's probably far harder for him to pull the trigger with that extra weight on him. But and I'm going to tell you this: it doesn't matter what weight Jermel Charlo would fight Canelo. Jermel Charlo loses. Okay, he could create better opportunities for himself, but it's just the power differential. Canelo touches him, he doesn't like it, and then he freezes up, and that's what you saw happen. He stopped letting his hands go. But for Jermel coming back down to 154, we'll see what he does. He is no longer undisputed. So we'll see what happens between Zoo and Mendoza. Maybe he fights the winner of that, try to become undisputed again, and then he fights Terrence Crawford. But at the end of the day, no one should feel bad for Charlo because he made a bunch of money. My understanding is close to between, I think they said like 18, 20 million, something like that. He made real dough for this Canelo fight. So he's okay. But his brother Jamal, he's back in the ring soon. We'll see how he looks. But This isn't a situation where all these fighters at 168, they'll beat Canelo. Canelo's special, man. Look, he's just got it. He's just got it, okay? And you got to give Canelo his credit. And I feel like Charlo had a good game plan, but he wasn't able to execute the way he wanted to because he got hit. I'm telling you from experience, man. I've been in sessions sparring people where I had a guy, man. He was some kind of amateur champion, some crap that he picked up over there in Europe when I was TDY over there. I was deployed over there, and I was in the gym one day. I saw these guys hitting the speed bag and heavy bag, and I said, "Hey, jump in with y'all." So they're watching me. I'm the new guy, and I'm hitting the speed bag, and they're like, see how I'm rolling that speed bag because they couldn't hit it like that. They had on headphones and stuff, man. I didn't do all that. I come in there to work, you know what I'm saying? I don't need no headphones. I'm rolling that speed bag. Guys like, you box? I'm like, I'll mess around. So they told me that they have sparring on the weekends, right? I'm giving y'all a true story. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I show up this Saturday morning, little coach, little white dude. He had boxed as an amateur, was in the Army, boxed for the Army, and he was coaching. So I showed up and he's like, yeah, man, you want to spar? I'm like, yeah, I'll spar, man. And he was like, hey, do you box? I said, I messed around. I said, I can handle myself. He was like, all right, I want you getting hurt. I was like, no, cool. So he put me in with a guy who maybe a beginner level, and he just wanted to see what I could do. So I had no issue with the first guy. Then he put me in there with a guy who was probably outweighed me by like 20, 30 pounds. And, I was giving him the business. He come with a nice little shot, left hook, man, and I felt that power. And I was like, I can't get hit with too many of those. But I binged him, and he was just like, you need to fight this guy. You need to spar this guy. Because they didn't know me, but they were tripping off the speed and power and stuff, right? But anyway, I ended up, there was this guy who was just some champion, right? Some title. And he's in the gym looking at me like I'm crazy. I think the little straight hair and shit, curly hair and all that. Thought I was a pretty boy. So, and this is a true story. So we up in the gym, and the guy's like, I want to spar, I'll spar. And the coach was like, hey man, go ahead and spar. And he was probably about like 10 pounds lighter than me. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, yo, let me tell you something. I'm right-handed, but I fought southpaw. Yo, this guy's stupid. He wasn't even paying attention to my fight stance or nothing. He come out there doing some float like a butterfly crap. He throws a jab, and I just parried a jab. It countered his jab, right, with mine. And then he came in close, and I banged him, man. Uppercut to the body, right hook to the side, then right hook upstairs. And he froze. And the coach was like, stop. And the coach was trying to tell him, like, yo, he's right-handed. And we continued sparring. The guy, he wouldn't do nothing. And he was still shook. The coach stopped it. Okay? So all that confidence went out the window when he felt that power. So that's a story about me doing that to somebody. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I've been in a similar situation where I didn't end up in his situation, but I knew that I was dealing with some shit. Sparring this guy. I think, yeah, he outweighed me. But the sparring session wasn't where we were working to make each other better. I ended up in a sparring session where I wasn't in the best shape, where somebody was in great shape, and that shit was like life or death. And I realized that in the first round because we're sparring and I'm looking 100% speed, about 50, 60% power. My man was throwing bombs, and he threw one and I caught it And but the impact, I was like, yo. And I was like, yo, what we doing here? I was like, all right. So I figured, whatever. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I had to fight hard. This was just sparring. But I had to fight hard. And so I hurt him in the first round, right? In the second round, right? I'm a little bit tired because I wasn't in shape to fight like that. Like, yo, I'm telling you, that was probably the hardest, from an actual fight and sparring, that was probably one of the hardest, probably the hardest I've had to fight. Second round came, and I'm killing him. I'm outworking everything. Then I started to get a little tired. He threw a shot, and I saw it coming, and I rolled with it, so it caught me, and I rolled with it. But I remember I was like, yo, the cat hit him. He hits hard. But I was tired, man. And the third round, I came out, and I did more grabbing him, like what Jermel was doing tonight, more grabbing him. I would wait, he would throw a shot, and I would just step in and grab him. And at the end of the third round, I was like, nah, I'm not coming up for the fourth round because I was so tired. And I'm being very honest with you guys. I was so tired that my whole body was shaking. My legs, my body, everything was shaking because I had used all the energy I had to move around and to not end up backed up in a corner on those ropes where this guy could try to tee off on me. So he was bigger than me. He outweighed me. But I think I may have been just naturally stronger than him because I would just grab me. He couldn't do nothing. But he heard me breathing, and his coaches were like, "Oh, he's tired. And I remember at the end of that, I was like, "Yo, what was that?" But they were trying to get him prepared for some tournament. So my man was in, like, no kidding, fighting for the gold medal shape, and I was just like in the gym shape, but not ready for no fight. But I learned my lesson from that. I made sure whenever I was in the gym, if I was going to spar, I made sure that I was in shape. And then whoever I got in the ring with, I didn't play that I wasn't into the coochie coo, because I'm like, yo, man, this shit ain't no joke. But what I'm getting, I give you that story to let you know I know what it's like to hit somebody hard and they freeze up. They're scared to let their hands go. And I know what it is to be on the receiving end where you get hit with something and you're like, I don't get hit with that. And then when the fatigue and stuff sets in, even though if you throw, the person's susceptible to being hit. Like Jermel could have thrown shots. He could have caught Canelo. He was catching them when he did throw, but you just know the risk of one of them bombs coming back. So that being said, man, Canelo Alvarez has something special. He's obviously really strong. It can crack. And I just think no matter what it is, whoever he fights, I think that they're going to experience that. But we'll see what happens next for him. Good job to both of them, man. But it's just nice to see such an intriguing matchup. But I don't think anybody should be out here talking about fighters are licking their chops to get in the ring with Canelo. Canelo didn't look tired. He didn't look lethargic. He didn't look like he lost his focus. He looked locked in, zeroed in to the job that he had to do, and he did it. So congrats to him, and congrats to Jermel for getting that damn type of payday that could change generations and generations and generations. So it's a win-win for my boy Jermel, and Canelo's on to the next, and it's a win-win for him for taking a step closer to becoming a billionaire, all off of boxing money, which is outstanding. That being said, man, y'all keep cool. Ignore what the haters say about Canelo. Ignore what the haters say about Jermel. Those two guys can scrap. But weight class for a reason, and Jermel would definitely have to grow into 160, then try to grow into 168. And he didn't have an opportunity to do that. But he had an opportunity to make big money and, further cement his legacy. When you have an opportunity like that, you got to take it. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.